everybody, and welcome to the Yarn Thing podcast with Marley Bird. You can catch the Yarn Thing podcast live, usually every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. That's 12 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 o'clock on the West Coast, and 11 o'clock in the Midwest. If you would like to know when we go live, when it is local to you, please Google what time 10 o'clock Mountain Time is for you and come join us here on the show. Better yet, just hit subscribe right here on the Marley Bird YouTube channel. Click the notification bell, make sure all your settings are set up to where you actually get those notifications, and you will be notified whenever we go live. So today is obviously not Tuesday, it is Wednesday, and that's because we have been trying to get online all day yesterday, actually, and with the given situation of the world and everybody being at home practicing social distancing, everybody is on the internet, everybody is on Zoom, and so we couldn't get it to connect. So we are attempting to do this really early on the East Coast, really early on the West Coast, to see if we can get on here before everybody else jumps on for their daily events. So if you are joining us live, welcome. We're glad you're here. Jessica, thank you for getting up so early in the morning to try and do this.
Of course, I got my coffee.
I don't even have that yet. I have a Dr. Pepper, like it's sitting right here. So I'll have to start off with that. But I'm thrilled you're here. So we do have people here in the chat. They're saying hello. Good to see you. It's exciting that we're finally getting this to go. So this is great. I think everybody was following along with yours and my Instagram stories yesterday. And I know that I went on live on Facebook a couple times to say, okay, here's the situation. But here we are. Yay. Yeah. Wow. Chris Lopez is even here, and she is on your time zone too. So welcome, Chris. She is up and at 'em. So, hey, I'm going to give an introduction here for the best that I can. So you guys already know me. I'm Marley. And then I have a wonderful guest today, Jessica from the Hook Nook. And Jessica, I don't know if you know this. I have been following you for quite a long time on Instagram. I like to see your pictures. At first I was like, who is this girl with this funky pink hair? And she likes to crochet. Oh, this is fun. Oh, look, she has tattoos. Oh my God, she likes a snake. Like, I have all of these emotions, but I've liked following you. Okay. And it's always interesting to me because you don't really know a person when you follow them, but you feel like you get a little glimpse of who they are in their life. And so for a long time, I've thought to myself, I would love to meet this girl. I'd love to see what she's all about, hear her story, and do all the things. So those of you who saw us on Instagram last night know that we had a chance to talk a little bit before this show, just to actually be like, okay, so we can't get together online, like live, let's just chat. And I fell in love with you last night. Like, I went to bed with my husband and I'm like, I met the best girl. He goes, you totally sound like you just went on a date or something. And I was like, awesome. And so he's like, that's good to know, babe.
So reciprocated.
It was fantastic. So I want to tell all the fans out there, she is just as cool in person as she portrays online. Like, she's amazing. So I'm excited for all of you to get to know her today. So let's talk to you, Jessica. Let's give people your story, your background, because like so many of us, you just found something that you loved and now you've turned it into a career. So literally, like, this is your time. Take it away. Tell us your story and how this all came to be.
Well, I never intended on ever working as an adult. I had a mom that worked way too much. And so I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted my kids to be my focus. I need to drink more coffee, but we had our daughter, and I taught myself how to crochet so that I could make her things specifically for me that could be special. And as I learned by teaching myself off of YouTube, I posted things that I made for my daughter on Facebook. And so then friends and family wanted to buy things for me. And so that's kind of how I started selling products. And then as that continued, I wanted to be a little bit more professional. And so I opened a Facebook business page, which led me to open an Etsy account, which led me to have lots of orders ranging. Like, I used to make themed beanies, like character beanies and newborn photography props. Anyway, I made a lot of things to sell. And then that just became too overwhelming. And so then I started doing patterns and reached out to Joanne several years ago and got my foot in the door with them. And it's just continually progressed step by step.
I love it. I love it so much. am I on? Okay. I opened my soda and I put myself on mute. I was like, oh, am I on mute still?
There you go.
So as this has progressed into what you have now, like, what is your family set first off? Cause like usually my family and my followers know this, like my family is like, you can make money doing that. Like, really, is this really what we're going to do now? Like, how did your family react?
Well, my husband, this has been like, I've still viewed it as like a side hobby thing up until like the last year or two. It's I'm still figuring out what this all is. But my family, I was told since a young age that I was going to go to college, and I had no say in that. That is what I was going to do because that is what people do. Me and my husband never went to college. I did go to college for 2 terms, but I ended up failing out of it, so I didn't even complete them. So that's my professional opinion, or whatever. But no, they were not down with me being a stay-at-home mom. They were not down with me being creative. Like my mom works in the hospital. A lot of my family works in the medical field, and so crafts was not a profession.
Yep. So my family, like my parents didn't go to college, but it was very drilled into us, like, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to college. Now, luckily I wanted to go to college, so that worked out well for me. But the whole time I was there, I had no clue what I wanted to do. Right. But luckily I majored in speech communication, which has helped me out very well in what I do now, because I can speak in front of crowds and I know how to organize my thoughts. It might not seem so when I'm live on air. You try it. It's not so easy. But
I'm terrible at it.
I got really lucky. And it's funny because I don't even know if I've said this story online. I remember when I told my mom that I wanted to go into speech communication, and she was like livid. She was like, what are you ever going to do with that? I don't understand. Like, she was beside herself. And I told her, I said, Mom, I don't, my grades aren't good enough to get into the business school. I love computers. At the time I loved doing websites, but I couldn't get into the computer programming school because I didn't have a good enough math grades, which I find ironic now that I'm on the computer all the time, dealing with website stuff all the time. But I'm like, I don't know what else is available to me. I said, I can talk real well, I'm like, I could do this. And so then it was like a week later, she called me. She goes, okay, so we're going to be all right with this communication thing you're majoring in. I'm like, oh, what changed your mind? She goes, well, I found out Matt Lauer like has that as his degree too. I was like, oh, she's like, so yeah, so obviously you can do something with it. I was like, oh my God, thanks, Mom. Like, wow. So thank God for Matt Lauer, which is really odd to say now. But there are many successful people who are successful because, and not because they didn't go, but are successful and they didn't go to college. But yeah, in this whole craft world, this is a whole different entity. And even in the craft world, people who are making money in the craft world are very seldom actual crafters. Actually, when you think about like the big corporations of Joann's and Michael's and even some of the companies, they're companies. Very few of them are actual knitters or crocheters or crafters or whatnot. At least that's been my experience. I know that like this is way small scale, but when I worked with Bijou Basin Ranch, like they didn't knit or crochet when they got into yarn, but it was another business to work into. So having that passion for crochet and going into this business and making a business of it, kudos to you. Like, it's really fantastic. I love that you contacted Joann's and built a relationship there. And when you say that, like, what does that mean for the people who don't understand how that works?
So back 5 years ago, everything was different. A lot of the fiber companies, at least in my experience, were ran a lot differently. So the social media aspect was different. It's all different now. But I had reached out originally to Joann's Instagram page and was like, hey, I don't know if you do this, but I would love some yarn support. I shop at Joann. This is where I've shopped my whole life. I'd love to receive yarn support and share about you. And they said, well, we don't do that, but what we can do is send you this product for you to review on your blog. And I said, well, I didn't tell them, but in my head, I was thinking, I don't have a blog. Should probably make one. So me and my friend, or me and my assistant built one for me over a matter of a few days so that I could tell them, yes, I can do that. I can, review something on the blog. And so then they sent me this yarn dyeing kit for me to review. And that's kind of how I got my foot in the door. And then they had, then it progressed from there. But it was basically just, a lot of the things that I've gotten have been not being afraid of being told no. So the worst thing that can happen is you just reach out and ask, and then they say no, and there's no harm, no foul. But if they say yes, then that's a yes you wouldn't have gotten had you not gotten out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So through this relationship with Joann's and shopping at Joann's for all these years, you obviously are a connoisseur of yarn, and you know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know what you want to see. And so how do you go about working forward and coming up with this idea of, you know what, I would like to have these tools and this yarn? And then how does that transition into actually making that happen? Like this is so fascinating. I love it. So take it away.
No, it's an interesting story, and I'm very grateful for it, but it's so unrealistic. I don't know how it's real life. I had originally, so I years ago, I would shop at Joann and I would see all these yarns and all of these, tools and stuff, but nothing was like aesthetically beautiful in my opinion to what I would want them to be. And so I had reached out to Joann years ago with a proposal. They said for my own yarn and my own stuff, but they had said, no, you have to go through a manufacturer, and then we'll work with the manufacturer. And I was like, I don't know how to do that.
Hey, Jessica, can you see me? Can you hold on just a second?
So then offered, and hold on, are you still live?
I am live. Yeah. So it was just getting really choppy. So I was going to say it started to get choppy when you moved the computer a little bit towards you.
Okay.
So what if we move it back a little bit, and maybe that will help. It's 10 o'clock now. So now everybody, what would that be in the Midwest or the Midwest and the mountain area is now getting on. So who knows? All right. Okay. I can hear you now. So where the sound started getting off for me, it was when it said, Joann said that you'd have to contact somebody to do something like that.
So they had said that I needed to contact a manufacturer and work with the manufacturer and go that route, but I didn't know how to do that, and I didn't know what that meant. So I just dropped it. But then years later, I had the idea to make my yarn passport, which is part of my collection now. And my assistant works under Heidi Swap brand through American Crafts. And she was like, hey, let me just ask my boss if you can submit a proposal. And I about peed my pants, but they said yes. And so they let me send in the proposal. A month later, they did say yes. And then it progressed from there. And then I was working with the team at American Crafts to create this whole thing for a year and a half. But that's kind of, I don't remember what the original question was, but that's how it happened.
Yeah, that is so fun. And then so then you get the tools, and you go back to Joann, and you're essentially like, okay, you told me I had to get the manufacturer. I have that. Here I am. Let's talk. And they're like, we love it. We're going to put it in 100 of our stores. And now it's in the stores.
Right. Yeah. So sort of. They had one meeting with American Crafts and Joann, and then they kind of come up with some kind of terms and idea. And then I went out to another meeting in Ohio for that second sales meeting. And then that's when we kind of discussed like how many stores and like what we wanted it to look like or whatever. And, things always change, and that's okay. But yeah, I've learned a lot going through this process about like, cause I'm just one little human maker that started because I wanted to make my daughter some things. Now I'm dealing with corporations and partnerships and contracts and all kinds of things. And so I'm still learning it all as we go, but it's definitely been quite a process, and I'm grateful to have learned everything that I've learned.
Yeah, it is. It's I can completely agree with you. It's a completely different experience dealing with big corporations, big money, big situations. And you know, you think about it, it's like, yeah, it's so exciting to see your stuff in the store, but there's so many things that go on behind the scenes to finally get it to that point. So have you seen it in the store yet?
I have seen it in one store.
Okay.
My family lives in Washington. And so when I went up there this last fall, I got to go to the Silverdale, Washington store, Joanne, with my grandma, my daughter, and my cousin. And so we all got to go and see it in the store together. And that was the first time I got to see it. And it was so exciting. It was so exciting. But that's the only time I've been able to see it in a store.
I love that feeling. Like it's like, this is real. Like, this is really happening.
My face was on a thing.
I love it that you repost things when people post, hey, look what I found at the store, and you're like reposting it. Cause I mean, I get giddy for you. It's like, this is so cool. This is happening, you know? I think one of the things I love most about it is that you're a crocheter who came up with tools and yarn and stuff that, you know, other crocheters are going to like. You know what I mean? You're not just some random business person like, oh, I think this will sell because people think that they like that. Like, you are a crocheter who came up with that. And it's fascinating. So how many products do you have? And why don't you tell me about like some of your first ones, some of your favorite ones? Like, I mean, do you have any there with you that you can show?
Yeah, somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Reorganized.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. No, let me before I get up and like run away and then ruin the like thing, let me think about where everything is. But
okay.
No, I don't know exactly how many I have because I for some reason have never counted, but it's a lot, like 50 or something.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. And then all the different colors of yarn, so that adds the different. But my favorite, all-time favorite is the yarn passport, because that's the one, like that's where it all started. That's what I wanted to make originally. And essentially it's like this like journal specifically for fiber lovers or for fiber artists, because I've been very fortunate to be able to try so many different kinds of yarns from so many different places, so many different parts of the world, so many different kinds of things. And some of them I end up touching and receiving, but then I never want to use because then I used it and it's gone. And so I wanted to have like a little space where I could kind of like have a keepsake scrapbook of all of my favorite like bits of yarn.
Yeah.
And so that way I could use the skein but still have that tangible memory of it.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what the yarn passport is. It's got little slots for you to put in little bits of your yarn and like notes about it, where it came from, why it's special or whatever else. And then it's got spots for like project pages for you to put like a photo, and notes for something that you made, graph paper, folders, all kinds of things. That's hands down my favorite thing from the whole entire collection, just because that's where it all started, and that's I love it. Some of the other really awesome things that we came up with were like the skein savers, which I have like I'm looking at them, but like my shelves are like full of yarn that are all just like blah blah blah. And so then the skein savers.
Can you see like, like
it's tidy.
But... No. Like this here, you can't see right here. Like it's a pile of, okay, I'm done with that, and just toss it.
That's basically all of that. So
yeah.
But yeah, they're really cool, like little like 90s hair tie things where you can basically wrap them and snap them and keep the skein all tidy. I am in love with them. Everything is just so cute, and I wanted things. I know how to talk, I promise.
Drink more coffee. You're good.
But no,
last night it was wine, today it's coffee. These are the days of our lives.
These are the days of our lives. Yes, no, so the main theme for the whole collection was I wanted to, with Instagram being my favorite platform for social media, I love taking pictures, I love creating a mood with the yarn and whatever else, but a lot of times I ended up taking the label off of a skein just because it wasn't
aesthetically pleasing.
Yes. And so I would take the label off. So I wanted to have like the labels and the packaging and the actual tools themselves be something that were aesthetically pleasing for other people to want to take pictures of, to want to put in their photos on social media. Just rethinking what packaging and a collection is nowadays for the millennial maker.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I read something somewhere, it must have been something Caitlin sent me, where you put stuff together and you have a different vibe on it. And it is like this Instagram look of, I don't want to say Instagram look, because I feel like that has a bad connotation. Like in the makeup world, like we were talking about, like you have like, oh, that's the Instagram makeup. You would never wear that out in public. Like, that's not what I mean. I mean, it had, like just what you said, it makes you want to photograph it, makes you want to put it on Instagram. And we all like, we feed ourselves first with our eyes, right? So that makes sense to me. And you have a really unique aesthetic, and that really comes through with the tools and the yarn and the colors and everything that you put together. I love the photography of you with all the stuff. Like, I think it's so fun. So I think you did a really good job there. Like your goal was definitely achieved.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you want to grab a couple things, and then I'll be your dancing monkey here while you're doing it?
I don't want to mess up the thingy.
You're okay. I will talk to everybody while you're gone. So happy that all of you are here. Just so you know, the link to the show notes, I have put that in the video description box below. I will copy it and add it right over here to the chat room right now, so you can see there in the video, or in the show notes. There is a little bit about Jessica in there. There's also links to all of the different places that you can follow her. There's the Hook Nook website, her YouTube channel, which all of you need to go follow the Hook Nook YouTube channel. And then there's Hook Nook on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Hook Nook Patterns, Hook Nook Facebook group, all the different places. You guys definitely need to be a part of that, right? We need to make sure that we are supporting our fellow crocheter. And so there's also going to be a giveaway at the end of that blog post, but we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. So Jessica is back to show us some tools. So let's take a look at what she has.
Okay. So I grabbed a couple, but all some of my, like all of my hooks and whatever else are out in my car from my last photo shoot. So this is what I have currently. But okay, so the other really awesome thing that we came up with is the ends weaver.
Love it.
So it looks like tools that we've used before. However, we elongated the neck here and then added the ergonomical handle. So essentially, instead of
the tapestry needle.
Thank you. Instead of doing that, because I can't think of that word, threading that and then weaving it in, this essentially you would just put it into your work, weave it in this way, and then you would grab the end, and then this would come up and close, and then pull it out and snip. So it's like awesome. One step instead of threading and blah. It's amazing. So this was, everyone's super excited about that one.
Cool.
And then we have like super huge jumbo hooks, because I worked with a company that specialized in like huge inch thick yarn, and I loved it. However, at the craft stores, I didn't see a whole lot of the big super huge hooks that I was enjoying working with. Like someone had sent me a 35 millimeter hook, and it was amazing. But I can't find one at the store, and so we created the 35 millimeter and like 25, and we have all like super huge ones. So that was really exciting. But let me see. Okay. Again, I didn't plan this, but so it's all kind of empty. But this is like the interchangeable crochet kit or crochet hook set. So essentially it's this cute little package, little faux leather, and then it has the little heads on here. So, and then it comes with 2 handles, and you can completely just change the size of your head. So this was another like one of my favorites.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So when I went to Arizona, I only brought this, and then I had all the hooks that I needed for things that I was working on while I was there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
We've got the Notions kit, and it's the felted wool that matches the bag. Da, 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 da.
Love it.
Yep. I wish I had better lighting, but
you're good. You know what? People are excited just to hear from you, about you, and kind of get an idea of, so then when they go to the store, they'll be like, oh, I know her. I saw her on the podcast, you know, and it's kind of exciting.
It is exciting. Thank you. I am just awkward. So cheers.
You're totally fine. You're totally fine. When we talk about the yarn that you have out there too, it's not just, it's not like Chic Sheep. It's different. So like what did you do different? Like what did you think about when you came out with the different yarns that you have?
I try to think about different kinds of makers. And so over the years, I've discovered that, I'll go through moods where I'll want a clean acrylic yarn for a certain kind of project, or I'll be in the mood to want something more textural and not quite so clean. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to think of like different textures and different feelings that I wanted to have in the collection. So, and then thinking about the different weights that people enjoy using, that I enjoy using. And so that was the original, how I began that thought process of what we're going to do. Originally, then we decided to come out with the DK weight, the size 3, a size 4, which are both acrylic, because then that way most people could afford to do it or use it. And then it was washable, it's functional. And then I wanted to create, which is this one that I'm making. This is with the Yummy yarn. So this is a little bit more like textural and not quite so clean. Uh-huh. And this, it's just, I love making because of the hours that I spend making. I don't like to make things just to make things. It's the process for me. And so as like feeling the yarn in my fingers and working up the stitches, it's that process that I love. And so I just wanted to be able to have materials that felt good for me in those hours. Not
totally understand.
Yeah.
I totally understand. Absolutely understand.
Where I focused.
So we talked about the yarn, we talked about the tools, we talked about Instagram and how much you love doing Instagram and taking pictures. You guys need to totally follow her, the Hook Nook. It's awesome. We also want to talk about the patterns. So you were creating patterns on Etsy, but you were making the things. And then you started writing patterns out and selling patterns, or how did that work for you?
Yeah. So before I didn't put any of my patterns on my blog because I was learning everything. But I sold patterns on Ravelry and Etsy. And that's how I first started. And so it just literally, I got so tired of making things over and over and over and over and over again. I just wanted to make things once and be creative and figure out what I wanted to make and then make something new. And that allowed me to make one thing, put the pattern out there and make a little bit of money off of it so that I could afford yarn for something else and da-da-da-da.
Yep. So
that's kind of how I did it. Yeah, I don't remember.
I love it. So now you have patterns, you're out there, and I have on my list here that you are going to be doing a book. You have a crochet along coming up. Like there's all these different things you have in line. Can you talk at all about any of that?
I can. So the crochet along, originally you and I were supposed to talk a long time ago.
Oh.
But it's okay. We had the crochet along and it was wonderful. And the pattern is still up on my website. And so it's called the Turning Point Shawl. Okay. So it's a triangle shawl striped using my Hook Nook Yummy yarn.
Okay.
And essentially it's the same thing. Like as we work on that each week, actually, I don't want to say that because I don't know if that's true. Rewind.
If people want it, they can go get it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was the crochet along. It was really exciting. And then you had said the book.
Yes.
That is very exciting. I have my entire life, I've loved words. I've loved reading. I've always wanted to be an author. I took AP composition in high school. I took creative writing. I had the opportunity to receive different offers to write a book by different publishers. And I had said no to a few of them because I wasn't in a position to write a book in life. And then I had 4 offers in my inbox and my friend was like, maybe you should like consider it. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll consider it. So I wrote up a proposal and I sent it to all 4 of them. And I said, send me your best offer by the end of the month. And there's other people interested. And I ended up going with Abrams Publishing. And so I signed that contract November, December of 2018. And since then I've been working on writing the book, and it's called Making with Meaning. And there's 23 crochet patterns in it of different kinds, like accessories and garments. And so, but then what I'm really excited about is that it's, again, focused, instead of here's a bunch of patterns to make, it's here's a book with different patterns that you can create, but while you create them, here's different topics for you to kind of meditate on in those hours you're creating.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's supposed to publish on October 6th. It's already available for pre-order on different sites, but I don't remember them all, so I can't play favorites.
That's all right.
But yeah, no, I'm very, very, very excited about that.
That's so cool. It seems like all of these things that you wanted, and some that you didn't know you wanted, but now you want them, and they're all just coming to you. And it's fascinating to watch it happen, because I get very excited for you. Somebody we've talked about, Vicky Howell, told me once that what you put out into the universe comes back to you. And so she's always telling me, she's like, you're always putting out that you're hustling. And she's like, maybe if we don't put that out in the universe, we can kind of have more of a cool, calm, and, relaxed, very stable sort of environment. And I'm like, but I like the hustle, but I take that in because I think about it often. I'm like, so what am I putting out there? What am I saying out loud? To the universe or to God, or anything, like, what am I saying? Because it does come back to us. And so I feel like that's something you've done, is you've like, I see that yarn, I'm gonna do that, I want to do that, this is gonna happen, and here you are. And it's so exciting to see it all happening for you.
Thank you. It is exciting. And it's again, so I grew up very, very not in a way that ever gave me any kind of idea or hope or envision that anything good or big could happen with my life. I kind of grew up in a very traumatic, painful situation. Mm-hmm. And so having it all happen, I actually I still struggle with recognizing that this is real life, because it's completely different than the life that I lived before. And sometimes I don't feel like it's, anyway. Hello.
You're good. I think it's important. You're real. It's so real. And I understand.
It's just, it's crazy. And I don't know. I hope that all of it isn't for naught, and that having other people see that if it can happen to a normal human being with a story like mine, literally, like it's I never worked for it. It's believing in yourself and following a passion and a journey that feels right to you. You can't copy another person, because your story is going to differ from someone else's. And it's just figuring out in your mind and allowing you to have, like, the things that you're passionate about and the things that feel right for you. Those are the things that you need to be pursuing, not because it's working for somebody else. It's, if you look at my story, it's like I was creating things to sell, because in that season of life, that's what I needed to do. I needed that distraction. And then I grew out of that season where I needed to be more creative and do different types of projects more often. And I, transitioned. And then I came to a spot where I was too overburdened and overwhelmed with people requesting the patterns as soon as possible. So I stopped writing patterns publicly, and I only did commission patterns privately. It's just ebbing and flowing and figuring out your season and following where you need to be. And things will, like, the doors will open the moment that they're supposed to be open, and you won't know that. I mean, just allow life to happen.
That is perfectly said. That's perfectly said. I feel like I hear my dog scraping on my door. Sorry. I love that. And I think you said that perfectly. And that's a perfect transition into wrapping it all up with giveaways. Love giveaways. So here on the Yarn Thing podcast, all of you know who listen to the show all the time, we usually give 2 giveaways, one to somebody who's listening live and one to somebody who leaves a comment on the show notes. Now, I mentioned earlier that I did put a link to the show notes in the video description of this video. They are down there. You must go to those show notes in order to leave a comment for a chance to win a prize. So let me see if I can I do share screens here? Wonder if I can. I think I can. I think I've done it before. All right, so we're gonna do a share screen. All right, so right here, you guys, I'm gonna scroll up. This is the link that I added to the video description box, okay? This is the link you're gonna go to take a look at the show notes. This is the page you'll look at, pretty simple stuff. There is a brief little like snippet about Jess. Isn't that cute? Like such cute pic. You're so photogenic. It's awesome. Here are all the links I was telling you guys about earlier, about all the different places you can follow her, where to get her products. This is her YouTube channel. Make sure you have hit subscribe to that. And then you can shop the Hook Nook. Just click that big old image right there and then listen to the show. I will get on here and I'm going to update all of this with the link. And then I'm going to update all that because obviously that didn't happen last night. But right down here, here's the information about the giveaway. You will leave a comment. Now, where do you leave a comment? Marley, you're still scrolling. Yes, I am. Down here, literally at the very bottom of the page, you guys, this is the area you will leave a comment. And your comment needs to be a reference to what your favorite colorway is of the Hook Nook yarn. Okay, so you can check out all the colorways over at joann.com. I put a link in the chat. I'll put a link in the video description too. Maybe I can add it in here. When I update the information in here, I will put the link here in the giveaway so you can go check out everything over at Joann. But by entering your comment down here with your favorite color, that will enter you for a chance to win a lovely prize from Jessica. And I want to say from Jessica and the Hook Nook, but from the Hook Nook. I mean, this is what it is. All right, so that's for the person who leaves a mess or a comment on the blog. They have to leave your favorite color. And what are they entering for a chance to win? If that's okay. So I have a list of items here.
Yes.
I just don't know if that's the same for both prizes.
Jen would know.
Okay. So we're going to leave it just very vague and say on the blog, you're going to win something. We don't know yet, but I do have a list of prizes that it says here for the live winner. So I'm going to list those. One person will win these prizes. Okay. So just to recap, go to the show notes, scroll to the bottom of the page where it says comments, leave a comment with your favorite color of the Hook Nook yarn, and you will be entered for a chance to win a prize from the Hook Nook. We usually pick a winner about 2 to 3 weeks after the original air date of the podcast. So that gives you guys some time if you're catching up on this podcast at a later date. For those of you who are listening live today, there are 125 of you right now. So that's really great. That's nice. Welcome. So many of you got up early to join us here. You will notice that in the chat room, I did go ahead and I put a link to the joann.com search for the Hook Nook yarn. So that way you guys could tell us what your favorite color is. So in the comment section, if you're listening live, let me know what your favorite color is. List it there. We will randomly select a winner here in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to give them some time to do that. While I'm doing that, Jess, I want to tell you, we have a mutual fan, I should say. So I am a huge fangirl of Yarn Utopia from Nadia at Yarn Utopia. I think she's amazing. I had a chance to meet her at Stitches a couple years ago. She recently, I think they've been married 2 years now, her and Nate, and they had a baby. We did a virtual baby shower for her with a lot of crochet bloggers. Anyways, she found out you were coming on the podcast. She was like, oh my gosh, she went crazy. She's like, you gotta tell her I love her. So then I told her I was gonna tell you, and she was like, oh my gosh, if you tell her I'm gonna die. So it was just it was the cutest thing. So I am telling
I
love
you, Nadia, Yarn Utopia, we are best friends.
She is a huge fan of yours. She thinks you're just absolutely amazing. So I wanted to share that with you. And then last night when Caden, not my husband, when Caden came in, we were talking afterwards. He was like, that girl's real cute. Who's she, Mom? And I was like, dude, buddy. So he's a big fan now too, just so you know. He's gonna start following your Instagram. Not the like 16-year-old boys following your Instagram. Yay!
I'm only twice his age, but it's so
That's okay. So everybody, my screen is scrolling like this. I try not to look at it because I always feel like I'm going to get vertigo because it's super intense. But a lot of people are listing some of their favorite colors. Do you have a favorite color?
Okay. So colorway name, I have a couple favorite colors, but I'm going to have you pick 1 through 3.
Okay. So do that. Do 1 through 3.
Okay. So I like Little Black Dress, which is my Yummy Luxe yarn. And then I like Tattoo Ink because it's obviously called Tattoo Ink when it's a black small stuff yarn. And then one of my all-time favorite colors that I have is like it's rose gold. So it's a really pretty pink, and that's my main squeeze worsted weight acrylic yarn. Those 3 are probably my favorite.
Perfect. Love it. Well, we have lots of people listing their favorite yarns here, and I'm going to scroll up and to where they started typing, and then I'm going to scroll down. You tell me when to stop. That person will be the lucky winner.
Are you going?
I am.
Stop.
All right, I stopped. Okay. And Emma Phillips likes Tattoo Ink. So that's so funny. So let's tell, is it Emma or Emmy? I'm not sure, but EMME Phillips. And she says Tattoo Ink is her favorite. So yay, you're not alone. So I'm gonna tell her congrats. And okay, so I gotta think through this. I can't type and talk at the same time. So there it is. You are the winner. Please email me winner@yarnthingpodcast.com. And she probably wants to know what she won. So let's tell her that. So I have on here, she wins the Hook Nook project bag, Notions kit, yarn passport, the Hook Nook gold, I rose.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, okay. So the hooks. So the crochet hook in gold, which is I, in rose, which is H. The main squeeze yarn, Midnight Decisions. She wins a portable storage roll. Is that the one we were talking about last night?
Yes. The makeup wrap thing.
Yeah. And then the enamel pins. Oh my God, I love the enamel pins. Also, how the heck did you get sticker, like the little emoji things on Instagram? I was like, dude, that's so fantastic. We got to talk about that. Okay. So the enamel pins, the cloth label, and the Learn to Crochet booklet. So that's quite a package.
Yay. Yes.
That
okay.
is so
I
cool.
have to mention, they're not all from me. So the reason why I don't know all the answers is because my incredible team at American Crafts assembled that package, and so they're the ones who are giving the prizes to the live winner and the other person.
That's perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. So congratulations, Emma Phillips or Emmy Phillips or however you say your name. I know that she's always here on the show watching, so her name is familiar to me. So I'm glad that she won. That's really great. The enamel pins are fantastic. You gotta love those. They're so much fun. So much fun. So super cool. I seriously, I love talking to you. I think you're awesome. I'm excited to see where your career goes. I really hope that everybody will go to Joann's because the yarn and the tools and everything, they're available at Joann's, you guys, and they're available online only. Like they're available at Joann, and not all Joann stores, like select Joann stores, and then they're available online. So if you want the stuff, you have to one or the two, okay? And just like anything, y'all, supply and demand. If you guys keep buying it all up, people will be like, oh, we should put this in more stores. So if you want it, you gotta buy it. That's the way the world works. But this has been delightful. Thank you so much for getting up early. It worked for us. Hey, this worked out great. And now I get to go start my day. I mean, it's 10:30 here, so it's not so bad, but I hear the teenagers starting to get up. So it's so exciting. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
All right. So when the book comes out in October, you need to come in and we'll talk all about that.
Okay. We have all kinds of really fun, exciting things planned for the book too.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Awesome. Okay. So for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Staying home, staying safe right now during this Corona pandemic. And I also want to remind everybody that the Tournament of Stitches did start yesterday. We have released section 1. It's not too late to get started. I mean, shoot. 4 weeks in, it's not too late to get started. It's for knitters and crocheters. You can find out more over on the Marley Bird website. So I will see you guys later, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Bye, guys.